Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World, and I saw that there was a lady, Rachel Dolezal, I think that's her name, out of Spokane, Washington, who basically pretended to be black for a lot of years. At least her parents have kind of outed her and said that she has been living a lie, that she's really a white woman and she's pretending to be black. I don't know why her parents outed her, but I do know that there was a news reporter who confronted her with some pictures and said, "Is this your dad?" and asked her about her dad, and then he came back and said, "But what about this guy?" And that's when she walked off the interview. Now, it's interesting because I thought about this a little bit, and because it's definitely curious. It's a real interesting kind of story because you don't see that too often. You might see people, black people, trying to pass for white. I mean, that's happened a lot, but you don't often see a white person trying to pass for black. And I looked at her background and her history, and I truly believe that this woman really wanted to be black. There's something about black people and black culture that she really admires, to the point where she may have gone a little bit overboard in terms of perpetrating what some believe to be a fraud. I think this is clearly an embarrassment for the NAACP. I think this is because the NAACP, I mean, they already had the issue last year with Donald Sterling, who the owner, former owner of the Clippers, who basically bought an NAACP award from. The local chapter. So these sorts of PR incidents are just not good for the organization. I even wonder if they really have the capacity to control what happens to at the local chapter level. I can't say I'm a huge fan of the NAACP, but I don't hate the NAACP. I've seen times where they've actually done some good. I just think that their organizational structure, their bureaucracy, gets in the way of their ability to really make the change that they should make. For example, Ben Jealous should have been given a lot more power within the organization, but I really think that they wanted Ben as a figurehead to give the impression that they are young and hip and all these other things when really they're not. Really, they're living in the Stone Ages in certain ways, and I don't think that they're necessarily doing everything that they could be doing. But anyway, beyond that, I think the story is definitely funny. Should we be upset about what this lady did? I don't know. I mean, some people might say, well, she took opportunities away from black people. The head of the NAACP probably would have been black if she hadn't pretended to be white. There probably, I think there are academic positions that she had that she wouldn't have had if she had been white, that a black person would have gotten. So you can look at it that way, but also, I kind of see it as a person who just really believes in her heart that she just connects with black culture. And here's the thing: we live in a society where people switch gender every day. I mean, you've got people, around here with penises who say, "Hey, I'm a woman. Let me use the girls' bathroom. Call me Caitlin, or whatever, and I'm gonna be a woman." You've got people with vaginas saying, "I'm a man. Treat me like a man." Well, why can't a person do the same thing when it comes to race? And also, in fact, you've historically had a lot of black people with a lot of white blood who didn't necessarily want that white blood. They knew they got it from Massa, because Massa snuck into the slave quarters and raped their great great grandmother or whatever, and they rejected that. Malcolm X had a lot of white blood because his mother was a very fair skinned woman who was a product of that same kind of rape that has occurred throughout history. So, but Malcolm is as black as they come. Nobody's going to look at Malcolm and say, "Well, you got X% of white blood, so you're not one of us." But at the same time, I mean, you look at this woman's background. I think she's part Czechoslovakian and part German, and so I mean, it's not a Malcolm X kind of situation. But I say to her, here's what I say. I want to know her story. I want to hear her tell me or tell us or tell anybody, um, you know, what led you to do this? What was going through your mind? What's the real story here? I mean, just be real. I mean, you got a whole lot of people that have a whole lot of jungle fever, and maybe she just knows that black man in that first picture, that is my father, and that the man in my house is not my father. That happens all the time. People cheat all the time. So, and personally, I just like to believe black men, we just so damn irresistible. You never know what people were doing in their spare time. So that's it. That's all I just want to say about it. I know, I'd be curious to see how this fleshes out. I know people are getting a good laugh out of it, and I did too. But at the same time, it is something maybe worth thinking about a little bit, making us kind of ask ourselves, what is blackness? Because as Yvette Carnell says in the conversation that I have later on today with her and Ben Dixon, she says, there are a whole lot of black folks walking around here who think they white, who act white, live white, do what white people tell them to do. And so as Ben said, if we were going to have a trade like the NBA trade, you might trade Rachel Dolezal for a Raven Simone. Y'all have Raven, we're gonna take Rachel. So anyway, that's all I want to say. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World. Please take care. God bless. I am gone.